Dear Dhamma friends, we are going to have another Dhamma talk, and may everyone settle down for the Dhamma talk and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. So sunyata mitang sanyagatang akāsānaṁ cāyatana saññāyāti pajanāti. Sunyata mitang sanyagatang viññānaṁ cāyatana saññāyāti pajanāti. Atti cevidang asunyatang yadidang ākiñcaññāyatana saññaṁ padicca ekattanti ti. Dear Dhamma friends, naturally we are going deeper and deeper according to this particular sutta, namely the Chula Sutta. That's a minor discourse on the voidness. And therefore, whenever we go to that area, it's quite unfair by the beginner's point of view. But lucky enough, it is happening in a gradual basis. So when and where someone can't catch up with, they can go back to the early part of the sutta and see how much one can refine one's own meditation or one's own mindfulness, or therefore each and everyone, whether advanced yogis or advancing yogis or beginners, always must go back to the zero, must go back to the beginning and galvanize their early part, then only that very sound practical understanding helping one to go into the very subtle areas. So therefore nothing to worry about the subtlety of the Dhamma, it's the nature of Dhamma. So even if it is unbearable or uncomprehensible, one has to go back to the early part and gradually season the same, and naturally it is leading to this subtlety whether you like it or not. That is the nature of Dhamma. It is called Swakkhato Bhagavato Dhamma Santittiko Akaliko Ehipassiko Opanayiko. Opanayiko means gradually pushing forward, gradually leading. So therefore, you must not have at the beginning the sole, total omniscient knowledge of the Buddha, but you are just common sense enough. With that common sense, when you start repetitively applying, again and again apply, incessant way you apply, so much so you can go to the subtlety. So, the topic today we are going to take can look from the mindfulness point of view. Whenever someone is mindful, we have no any idea about the Tipitaka or theory understanding, any idea about any subtle layers of the consciousness or perception. If he or she is ready to start with what is given, to start the mindfulness, that is to be aware this sensuous pleasure that we are pursuit when we are chasing behind is good definitely for the moment, but there is no assurance that is going to give a lasting pleasure. And when and where you transgress it, you will disturb others' freedom, you will disturb others' psychologies. So therefore, when and where you in the sensual sphere, lack of understanding about your limit is the basic danger. If you know the limit, easily you can be just a citizen, at least in this sensual sphere. But it is the one you get definitely bewildered when and where you are pursuing or progressing in one channel, whatever may be your pet idea or your hobby or your skillfulness. After a while you lose the basic sensitivity about the general norms, and easily you transgress. You justify then and there because I am so and so, therefore it doesn't matter. Once in a way killing, no problem. Once in a way robbing little bit, no problem. Once in a way sexual misconduct, no problem. Once in a way lying, slandering, no problem because I am so and so. So that is the creature called Putujjana. They don't know the limit. So if you are mindful, you will be a general citizen, you will be indulging the sensuous pleasure or happiness. But when and where you are about to transgress, go beyond the threshold, there's a kind of a sensitivity that is called moral shame and the moral fear, or healthy shame and the healthy fear. And that is the one lacking in the most in the general, normal society at large. They forget about moral shame and the moral fear. But the mindfulness, when you going to give kind of a responsibility, when you give the helm to the mindfulness, it does not disturb, it does not hinder your sensuous pleasure, but it says, now you are about to transgress, and then onward, you are presently also going to suffer, future also going to suffer, you also going to suffer, society at large also going to suffer, therefore, give kind of a sensitivity. So therefore, this is what you call secular mindfulness. They sometimes called secular ethics. It's very essential for the moment because whole world is progressing in many, many ways, but they undermine this moral shame and the moral fear. So that is why this global heating and all the kind of problems. So when and where you are mindful, when you are about to transgress, without a second person, your consciousness will come and says, now be careful, now you're about to transgress. So this is the biggest noble friend. It is this real true person within you. And not only that, when and where you introduce mindfulness, you get connected to other such mindful people. That's the biggest gift you are going to get. If you are not mindful, maybe there may be some kind of a moral shame and the moral fear due to your parents or religion or whatever may be, but hardly any chance for you to meet up with other mindful people. So therefore, when and where you introduce mindfulness, may be ethical, not religious, secular, but when and where you associate this spiritual people, true people, you see they are not only just mindful, they are restraining their words, their mental, physical activities, and they are restraining along their livelihood. So that is how they make themselves standing out, and no one can disturb it. You are always cautious about when talking, always cautious about when you are acting, always cautious about selecting your livelihood. So therefore, this kind of people have a good vibration. Whenever you get up, go and meet up with that kind of people, you see it is not artificial kind of true man. It's not artificial kind of noble person. They are internally mindful. Externally, they have already started Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. So they have enough time. They have enough space. And they have enough technology towards that. So anyone, even though they are mindful, even they are religious, if they won't get a chance to meet up with the noble people, they always complain not enough time, always complain not enough money, always complain there's no place to meditate, always complain world is deteriorating, and moral shame and the moral fear is eroding. So, unlucky lot that when and where you go to and follow the suit of the noble friend, enough time available, enough money, enough methodology, technology, enough places. And then they are not, of course, pushing you, but tell you there are some least frictional paths. So therefore, once in a way, what about allocating mindfulness for the sake of mindfulness? That is become religious. That has become spiritual. Then not the secular. Is sit for 1 hour. Or sit for at least 5 minutes. Do little walking meditation. Then you have to adopt into that. That is the point where you try to confine your mindfulness to your body. You take your body as the unit and try to keep the mindfulness within the body. Then you understand everything you have done so far, everything you achieved so far is disturbing you. You can't keep the mind within the body where these things appear like a memory, or your association with other people, association with other places. Each and everything may be socially valid, but for the mindfulness wise, you are losing. So therefore, ultimately you have to, in order to increase mindfulness, you have to take refuge of the body as your pivotal point, the body as your benchmark. More and more you keep your attention in the body, so much so you have to do away with the past and the future. You can do away with the other people and other places. If that is increasing, that means your friendliness with your body, your loving kindness with your body, whatever the posture you are living, you are very comfortable. You make sure, using your just body knowledge, and that is increasing. It's a very good sign, progress, that you are increasing the ways and means. And when it is happening, according to the terminology of the Buddha says, Ditta dhammika kama sanya, samparayika kama sanya. Ditta dhammika kama, samparayika kama. The sensuous pleasure in this life and expectation for the future. Perception regarding the sensuous pleasure in this life and the next life is, we appear like it's a social responsibility. Our mind is always engrossed with that, always obsessed with that. So Buddha says, to get rid of that, that means the past and the future. That means the thinking about other people, think of other places, take the rupa, materiality, as a pivotal point, take your body, and when and where you associate the body, when and where you mindful the body, according to the terminology we can say kayanupassana. So you are doing away with this external thing, that means sensuous pleasure, and the future lives, future betterment, and more you go there, your mindfulness is the only helper, and you have to use so much of tactics, so much of methodology, just keep in your body. Throughout the samsara, you have hate your body. Throughout the samsara, you have hate the present moment. Throughout the samsara, you hate the present place. Here, now I am. That was our hobby. Even in the past and the future and all the kind. So whenever you come to the body, it appears like strange. It appears like something odd. And sometimes it appears like selfish. You feel like thinking of the other places is much more social, much more compassionate. These are the cock and bull stories. So when you come here, you see the body is just like the seat you are taken, is nothing but these 4 elements. These elements in outside and inside do not know whether they are living in the living body or they are dead. Therefore, the relationship with the me and not me with respect to 4 elements bound to happen. So now you are interpreting your here and now in terms of elementary characteristic. I feel heaviness, I feel lightness, I feel movements, I feel fluidity, I feel heat, I feel cold. So your language is slowly changing to my heat, my hardness, my softness. Instead you going to feel the hardness, softness. And when that happens, Of course, it's a nuisance. Of course, it's a distraction for you, but it's a sign of progress of mindfulness. So at that level, when the mindfulness comes up to that level, you redefine mindfulness. It says, be choicelessly aware. Whether you like it or not, it's the heat element. Whether you like it or not, it's the water element. Whether you like it or not, it's the air element. And often, the appearance of elementary characteristic is an irritation. It is a friction. So therefore, you can't facilitate your growing mindfulness if you do not have that kind of little understanding, theoretical understanding, and how to facilitate it. And even if you do not have any understanding, if you can just report to a known person, he or she will tell you, no, this is not a lack of mindfulness, that irritation is a must. That irritation is a sign of progress. Keep on practicing. Keep on practicing. So then the Buddha says, don't worry about all the four elements. Just take whatever may be prominent. From that, when you go there, first and foremost thing you find is the elements are not solid. They are not concrete. They have the character appearing and disappearance. Only at the middle, when they become gross, you can't feel the beginning, you can't feel the end, because your mindfulness is not up to the mark. So therefore now you have a task, the sappamaga, diligent. Don't wait till the elementary characteristic become unbearable, irritating, inflicting. See the beginning. The day you start see the beginning and the character's normal mode or norm, that's what you call Paticcasamuppada. People are making so much of fuss out of the Paticcasamuppada. Paticcasamuppada, everything is these elementary characteristics. Once came into being, is too late. If you wish to know the Paticcasamuppada, the dependent origination, see its starting. Then you can see it always there, whether you perceive it not. Sometimes it comes beyond the threshold value, so you can feel it, and again it disappears, just like water is always there. Waves are just little agitation of the same wave. Whether waves are there, wave is there or not, the water body is always there. So when the tsunami happens, you start shouting. When the big wave, upper tide happens, you start shouting. But the water means never calm. It's making waves. So wave only you see once it come up to the peak, because of our lack of sensitivity, because of our lack of continuity of the mindfulness. So the Buddha explained, just see the beginning. When and where you see the beginning and the middle, you are endowed to see the end. That's the way you start entering into vipassana. Then onward, stories, mindfulness is totally with vipassana. Up to that point, the moral restrainment, concentration restrainment, they are working hand in hand. When and where you start to see not only the elementary characteristics, anything on the earth, anything in our experience, they have the rising and passing away character. So, irrespective of the main topic or your pet primary object or pet elementary characteristic, whatever may be arising and passing away, if you have the patience to see the beginning and the end, it's a norm, it's a given factor. Your mind naturally take the disappearing part, because so far in the samsara you were seeing on the beginning and the middle, you were hating disappearance. Disappearance considered as a death. Disappearance considered as something nihilistic. Disappearance considered as something negative. So therefore now you have mindfulness, spirituality. So that unknown part, mind is going to take more and more. So you see all the elementary characteristics. At the middle it is solid, hard and fast, unit-like. But when it is disappearing, is going to pieces. Everything going into pieces. More and more you observe this disappearing, even though earlier it considered as a nihilism, negative, unsocial, going against the grain like, it's so much of a hobby. You see, that disappearing characteristic is not limited to the individual element. It is common to even the non-material things also. Even the pain and pleasure, even the labeling, even your volitional activities, even the consciousness, everything through this magnifying glass of disappearance, you are bound to see, then you know about the earth, you know about the cosmic, you know about the galaxies, you know about your little emotions, you know about everything you have that is called the common character. Each and everything, whether matter or immaterial, whether liking or disliking, everything is disappearance. It's a kind of omniscient knowledge. Now only you know with respect to the materiality. So therefore, this knowing and exposure to this disappearing part is a quite hilarious, quite rejuvenating, quite a challenge for a person. Then only he is using the full capacity of the brain and going to see the disappearance. So when that happens, according to this Chula Sutta, the Buddha says, now you are about to see the space, akasa. Whenever things going to pieces, or appear like volatile, appear like not solid, instead of getting frightened, instead of thinking it is nihilistic, instead of thinking it is the lack of mindfulness or disappearance of mindfulness, you understand this is a part of mindfulness. And anything you focus longer time and closer observation, is what it happens, whether you hate or love. Ultimately, the day you accept it, you find it is nothing related to meditation, it's your mindset, it is your outlook. You go prepared, any person can see. You can't see it due to your phobia, due to your hindrance. You wish not to see it. That is what you call the foolishness. That is what you call the ignorance. Whatever you are going to suppress the disappearance, you can't. The day you accept it, you become a spiritual person, adventurous person. You try to appreciate the mindfulness. You appreciate things as they are. You don't get nauseatic, and it takes, of course, long time for you to understand the disappearing part. That means you are ready to understand the intermittent space between particles, between tiny, tiny things. And when that happens, the disappearance and the space, your mindfulness is not the early part of mindfulness. Now mindfulness is very sharp. Its definition also redefined. You have to let the thing happen. Don't choose. Have an evenly suspended attention. Don't meditate. Meditation is the basic culprit at that time. Just let go. Anything you do, so-called meditation, so-called direction, so-called manipulation, everything like something fall into your eye light. So now that it is catching momentum, evenly suspended attention, and vijnana chayatana means suspended decision. Don't decide whether thing or it is going to the pieces, ultimately whether it end up with the space, whatever may be, see the whole panorama, all the disappearance, don't let the mind to decide. So that means evenly suspended attention and suspended decision. So that is the point where you lose your norms, you lose your value judgment into a sensuous world. Sensuous world is full of value judgment, full of decisions, full of labeling, full of complications. Now you learn the art, let the law of the nature to run by itself. So your mindfulness is now rather defined in terms of negative terms. choicelessness, evenly suspended attention, or suspended decision, or not to rush into a judgmental, non-judgmental, unassuming. So these parts you can't introduce to the sensuous world. They hate it. They don't like it. They always wanted to quick decisions and judgmental. That is the way the world outside. So now you become dumbbound, because that is Buddha is leading you slowly from the akasa. Whenever something going to pieces, just observe without judgmental. That means vijnana, don't let the vijnana to take the upper hand. It is naturally coming and deciding having is better than not having, or not having is better than having. So this is, don't consider as a norm. You have to understand there is an alternative, that means suspended decision. It is called apannaka patipada and aviruddha patipada. Whatever happening, don't object. Everything happening is according to cause and effect. You have to be very patient. You have earned it, but verification of the same, appreciation of the same, always covered by your ignorance. Ignorance is two parts. One thing is you simply unknown. Second thing is misperception. Simple unknowing it can be rectified by teaching, but your misconception, never. That is the most difficult part. Even the Buddha find it difficult. If you do not understand, I see these things in this way because of my misconception. So therefore, in the front of the Buddha, in the front of Dhamma, in the front of Sangha, in front of your morality, just leave it aside and let that the phenomena to take place. See your prompting mind to decide, take partial. This is good, this is bad, like. That is what you call the first and foremost lesson, not to be partial in the vicissitudes of the world. Gain and the lost, pain and the pleasure, the ill fame and the famous. All the kind of thing are try to pull you into this way and that way. And if you are not well instructed, you think it's your decision to take a part or decide. But the Buddha, he says, the friction of the vijnana and chayatana means don't let the mind to decide. Whenever deciding, understand that is the beginning of the defilement. It is the starting point of the defilement. Whenever you decide, you commit. So try to do away with, but it's very difficult. But when that is happened, whether elementary characteristic available or whether you see dissolving it, or sometimes you see no elementary characteristics, but you see an infinite situation, but you feel uncomfortable. You feel doing something. You feel doing either different kind of meditation, or open your eyes and get up and go, or force breathing, or walking in a very harsh way in order to introduce objects. Or other people, they complain, when I'm in the calm and quiet state, a sound came, a thought came, a pain came, like arising object they hate. So one or the other, don't consider as a personal mistake. This is the way Vijnana is going to take the upper hand. See how much you can be observed, and there, the mindfulness, if it is working so far as a uniform police person, policing the situation, now it becomes a CIA person. Usually mindfulness is behaving the civil costumes and just observe the people coming and robbing and violating the social norms, they become a spy. So likewise, your mindfulness is spying about your likings and dislikes. Your mindfulness is spying about your personality traits. Your mindfulness is spying about your sansaric karmic forces. And everything, so it appears like a split mind. If you have any schizophrenic mental disease, there you will go mad. Because you are observing your own thing like you are observing your mirror image. Or whether you are looking at a or water surface and see your face with the light. It is beautiful or not, no problem. You have to understand the water surface is just reflecting. The mirror is just reflecting. Whether you like it or not, this is what given. Just accept it. That very acceptance ultimately bring it to a situation is very difficult to comprehend in our rational mind. You become indifferent whether objects available or not, have or have not. So this is somewhat ultimatum in the perception is concerned. Whether you perceive objects available or whether you perceive no objects, you don't worry. Just keep in the center. Something like in a seesaw, you used to sit and get the maximum thrills and frills in the furthest end. Now you slowly you come to the pivot. The same wavelength you can see, but the frills and thrills are reducing. But you can't expect that with the children. Your children are always happy to go to the furthest end. So we are more than children in your sensuous sphere, always expecting frills and thrills. That is the way Mara, that's the way ignorance is working. But when you come to the center, that means to understand whether having object or no object, don't label them. Don't execute liking and disliking. Even if it is happening, don't get sided with them. And it is happening, that kind of preparation, that kind of a mindset is not belong to this common world. It is something superhuman. So, this point, if someone is training for that, the Buddha says, not only the human being, even the Deva, as well as Brahmas are paying respect. He is such a person. Namo te purisa janya, namo te purishuttama, yassa te nabhijanami, yampi nissaya jayati. The Devas are telling, she is such a genius person, a well-bred person. I can't find upon what he is meditating. Why he is meditating? So that is, you are going beyond this rationalization. Yampi nissaya jayati. Does he meditate for concentration meditation or vipassana? Does he meditate for object or does he meditate for no object? Even the God can't understand. Even the Brahma can't understand. So that very person may get carried away by the having and not having. But if you have that outlook, if you have that kind of a mindfulness, now mindfulness is fully rich with clear comprehension. Sati is fully armed with Sampajanya. So therefore, when and where the sati happens, whether it is arising due to the distraction, maybe due to the sound, pain, thought, or primary object, or secondary object, or without any friction, it's in the complete space, infinite, don't take any partial. Don't become any don't exercise partiality. Just be aware. Then that whenever that experience happens, the Buddha says it is called sanyagga. That's the maximum you can go with this perception. And still it is, you can believe, you can experience before the death. It's a very peak experience as far as the perception is concerned. This Chula Sunnatha Sutta also carry you basically along the perception, and you can go there with the objects available and it is irritating. You understand that the object is irritation. When there is no object and still you irritate, you understand no object, still the irritation is there. Life is irritation. Living means irritation. Whether you are being a Deva or Brahma or male or female, monk or not, getting jhana, getting vipassana jhana, irritation is there. So if you accept this irritation, it manifests in 4 ways. It's always torturing. It's always burning. And always a compounded thing. Always it is changing the facet. So that is the way you opening yourself to the truth of suffering. You don't consider this as me. You don't consider it due to objects. You don't consider it due to lack of objects. You don't consider you can reduce it. You accept it. But still, when the Buddha is explaining in the Anajasappaya Sutta, Venerable Ananda is asking Bhante, does that mean that he's enlightened? No, no, no. He just, in the rehearsing to the enlightenment, give all the kind of nuisance, all the kind of frustrations, all the kind of stress, all the kind of unsatisfactoriness. He says, he never claimed this as me. He never claimed it is due to object or lack of object. He says it is, if you recognize, you suffer. Buddha give us a license, don't claim it. Just disclaim it. Disavow, because you know what a gross suffering you had in your sensuous world and how much you reduce it and come up to this level. So in this level, if you expect 100% lack of suffering, you are unpragmatic. You are not a practical person. Accepting this is what the first noble truth of suffering. So, if you are going to say, I am such a efficient meditator, I am such a person with so much of knowledge and vipassana, how can come that frustration here? How can this tension can come? Then you are fighting with tension, grumbling with tension. Tension will be multiplied. Instead you have to understand this is bearable. Just put up with. You know, you slowly how much you descended into the less and less frictional path, less and less comfort area. Is the maximum you can go, and therefore when and where you accept it, in Sinhala we call Paminiduk Panirahat. That's it. Don't go for further. Try your ability to put up with. You can. According to the suffering you have suffered in this sensuous world, this is something bearable, and that you do with your historical background, you know it is reducing. When it comes there, then you go to another layer of, another sphere of nothingness. It is much, much, much deeper than the Akasananchayatana nothingness, because Akasananchayatana is a lack of materiality. But here, you are going, or you get the glimpse of, not only the materiality, lack of feelings, lack of perception, lack of volitional commitment, lack of discrimination. Vijnana also benumbed. So when that happens, the Buddha says, you are in the highest level of conscious, the perception, and in other places, it hints, usually human mind cannot perceive it, cannot open into it, cannot aware of it. It appears like a shock. All of a sudden you go blank, and when you come back to the normal senses only, you can say, the few minutes I spent so far, I can't feel, I can't label it, I did nothing. But while you are there, you cannot be aware of it. You cannot be open into that. You cannot be diligently aware of it. It is so profound. It is so deep. And you are the only person can perceive it because you know your history. If you are going to teach other people, telling that there is such a place, and they will definitely put you into the asylum, telling, you say, send you to the psychiatric and say something wrong, please check this fellow. He is talking about something nonsense. This is the word. That is why the Buddha says, whenever you come up to that level, even you don't believe your own experience, it also becomes alienated. You feel that is someone else's experience like. So no one in this audience not experienced it. Everyone rejected. Everyone fearful about this. Everyone is suspicious about that. That is what we call lack of saddha. We have saddha for dana. But we have no much that saddha for sila. Even if you have dana sila, you have lack of saddha maybe on samadhi. Even if you have dana, sila, samadhi, saddha, the saddha for panya, that means indiscriminate understanding, this equanimity, equipoise mind, you consider as callous, you consider as a weakness. You think, as far as I am here, I must decide, I must lead, I must suppress others, I must dominate everyone. So now everything gone, so therefore when and where it is happening, you are the very person objecting it, because egotistic idea cannot appreciate it. Conceited person cannot appreciate it. People chasing behind the lion's share cannot appreciate it. Therefore, the Buddha says, whenever you familiarize that kind of a situation, there may be kind of a thinking happen. Of course it is thinking. Chete manasa me papiyo, achete manasa seyo. When you go into that situation, don't keep on thinking. Don't volitionally get involved. When and where you go into that, and if you are going to have any kind of a wish, any kind of a determination, any kind of a will, any kind of volition, you get eccentric. So therefore, once you go there, chete manasame papiyo. If I think I am disqualified to that situation, I will be pushed away from the present moment. You have to understand how much the mindfulness is sensitive at that time. Achete manasame seyo. Just let it happen. Just let go. So your effort is not to be volitional. It is not grammatical to say like that. You cannot determine to not to determine. That is not linguistically possible. But the Buddha is telling, Achete manasame seyo. If I can just let go, that is the way you are appreciating the already earned, the frictionless area. But if you go, when you go there, you feel alienated, you feel cornered, you feel fearful, you feel lonely. That is how the Chetana come and put you into a known place. That means known devil is better than unknown. But here the Buddha says, with respect to the known devil, just see there's an alternative, so unknown, because no perception, no labeling, no cognition, no recognition, and that is the area, that's the place where you can see the end of possibility. So when you go there, how to maintain this mentality or that equilibrium without thinking or without volitional activities, without determination, without a wish. So therefore, in Girimananda Sutta, the Buddha mentioned, Upaya upadana cetaso aditthana abhinivesānusaya te pajahanto viramate na upadyanto ayang uccatānanda sabbaloke anabhirata sanya. The maximum of anabhirata, that means maximum of lack of desire, is no reaching, not grabbing, not determining, no will, no wish. Just let go. So therefore, yet another place the Buddha mentioned, Sankhara Paramadukkha. Whenever you think, whenever you wish, whenever you determine, whenever you volitionally active, whenever you have will, that is the truth of, that is the term meaning of suffering. Suffering starts from there. When you let go, even after earning that kind of frictionless area, our mind is not happy. It is not contented. It feels like doing something. That is what you call kilesa. That is called injana, spandana, kampana, prapanchana. It's kind of a jerk. When everything calms down, you feel fearful. You feel uncertain. So you feel like doing something. That very urge is the one ultimately going to give so much of tsunamis, tornadoes, earthquakes, and everything. Ultimately you suffer. So when and where things are calmed down, just doing nothing is the kind of a training, and it is not a social aspect. It is not related to the ethical values. It is highly happening in here, now I am. You can't generalize it. Whenever you go there, whenever you think giving into someone and sharing, that itself is becoming a injana, kampana, spandana, papanchana, kind of a jerk, kind of a excitement, kind of a proliferation of mental thinking. So that training, once you go there, how to foster it, how to facilitate it, how to keep, is you are already dead while you are having a full life living world. You are experiencing the dead. So therefore, if you can't go into that before your conventional death, definitely you will be carried away in the deathbed. So therefore, if this is a kind of a thing, in this very life, while you are doing, you can go into the deeper senses, even not for the deepest. If your attitude is to this way, it's ever gathering the momentum and the efficiency, you understand when you are utterly not doing anything, you get the maximum result. You are completely connected with the universe and you are fully contented. Whenever you do something, you gain, whatever you gain is partial. It is not complete. So therefore you have to enter into the sunyata, enter into the voidness, little by little. Give up the gross thing, and then the subtle thing, and then the subtlest thing. Ultimately you can see, more and more you go to that area, whatever you have to give up is very trivial, but the gain is more to the unity, more to the holistic, and you can see through when you are reaching, when you are closing that area, you see membrane after membrane, there are some covering, and when you remove one, you see underneath there's a still subtle one, just like you are peeling off a banana trunk or red onion, and before leaving, before unpeeling, you can see through it. In between, nothing. In the middle, in the center, no pith. So you can keep on removing, and ultimately you throw away your effort because no use. You know, even you are unpeel and see it is nothing. So at any time you can leave it aside. That is the training. So therefore, whenever you reaching that area, you can go there because of lack of saddha. You can go there because of lack of precepts. You can go there, it's a lack of the refined mindfulness. So therefore, each and every mishap, whenever something unwanted thing happen, unexpected thing happen, don't find fault with others. Just see how much I have my faith to go through it. This is my question paper. This is my challenge. So how much I can go through it. Don't take everything I can go to like a norm, but try. That indicates you are not the saddha. It is called the kusala chanda, to apply yourself. And when it becomes adimokha, resolute, the challenge appear like a thrill. Challenge appear like a hobby. Challenge appear like a new toy. You keep on practicing. So when that happens, challenge also not so virulent in challenging you. Challenge is also not inflicting so much of suffering because you take it as a hobby or take it as a furtherance. And the precept-wise, not on the verbal, physical restrainment. You have to restrain yourself not to have a wish, not to have a volition, not to have a determination, not to have a wish. Whenever it is happening, don't rush, don't push them away. Understand, so much so I have ignorance. So much so I have something result-oriented. So you do for the sake of doing. That is what the Buddha mentioned. Namo te purisajanya, namo te purisuttama, yasatena abhijanami, yampini sajayate. He's very regularly meditating. Wholeheartedly meditating. Someone go and ask for what you are meditating, I don't know. I am doing because of my habit. You can't see any substantial gain. If there is a gain, he says it is defilement. The result of it. You are just in the supply and demand theory. You are economist. You are not a meditator. Ultimately, you go to do meditation for the sake of meditation. So it may be difficult to comprehend. Then you have to ask why Buddha is meditating. Why Venerable Maha is meditating after the enlightenment. They can't stop it. But they are so habitual because they say that as far as meditating, you are not violating the society. You are not disturbing your psychology. You are not disturbing other psychology. So, even after the enlightenment, what is the necessity for an enlightened being to meditate and to set example? I asked Venerable Jnanarama, when the Buddha says, even after enlightenment, you have to go to Patimokkha. Even after the enlightenment, you have to attend to the Sangha duties. Even after the enlightenment, you have to attend to the timetable. What is this? He says it is nothing for that particular person. He is setting a role model for the other people coming. He says even after the enlightenment, you are up to the timetable. They are the genius people on the earth. They are not for gain. They're setting example. That is how this 2,600 years with so much of other people come and try to disturb, the real message of the Buddha cannot be destroyed. Cannot. Because the people are practicing they never expect any kind of a fame, gain. They do for the sake of doing. And that one, frightening even the Mara, even the Deva, even the Brahma, even the thugs in the world. Even any person going to think negative about you, he can't accept because they can't hold it to something. There's a very nice simile. A robber or some kind of a person disturbing the social norm caught up and present to the king and told this person is almost suspicious, but he is not proven yet. But the punishment is capital punishment. Then please decide. Then the king told, putting him into a court, all the people right around looking at, put a pig inside. He told, you have not been proven and given the verdict that you are the culprit. There are enough evidence to say you may be. So therefore I am giving a chance. You have to kill this pig in such a way, that way I am going to kill you. So he took the tail from the king and whack on the ground and pig killed. But when the king go there and trying to find his tail, not there. That man has no tail. So he has to release. If you have a tail, that is what you call Chetana. He will catch off with that and hit you, whack you. If you have no Chetana, you have to hold. You are released, naturally released. So, any Chetana, and it is very difficult to believe. When the Arhat Schopenhauer is telling, any will is evil, the Buddha says, Sabbhi Sankara Dukkha. Anything you do is dukkha. Anything not doing, not dukkha. So that is what they say. Chete manasame papiyo, achete manasame seyo, yanno nanang achetayang, asankatang. May I have no chetana, no abhisankarana, no preparation, no beautification, nothing. As it is, then you are safe. Anything you add, anything you manipulate, is the tail. The king will hold it from that and whack you on the ground, and then you have to die just like the pig. Therefore, have no tail. If there is no tail, that means at the meditation, when you go to place where no thing or nothing, or have thing, just be aware how much you can be patient. not carried away by the vicissitudes of the life or the world. Just be aware as if you have not seen, as if you have not heard, as if you have no knowledge, as if you are a dead person. And when and where you learn this art, it is everywhere on the earth valid. So therefore it says, for a wise person, there is nothing called a foreign land. Everywhere is you feel like at home. Wherever you go, don't commit. Main thing is not to arrive at a quite quick decisions and let the decision take place by the nature. And you are taking part and parcel. That is called Taoism. Taoism means the natural unfolding. You waiting till the time mature, the decision will come, and then you are just following the suit. And others also maybe, but if you are associating with the quick-tempered and quick people, they will rush to a decision and they will ultimately suffer a lot. Can't help because they consider that commitment is their ego, that commitment is their conceit, that commitment is for their desire. So much so you get caught up. So therefore, it is not only by contemplation, it's not only by philosophizing, you have to bring the mindset up to that also. Even if you bring the mindset up to that, if you do not have that kind of a outlook of the mind, mindset or preparedness, still you won't get any kind of benefit of it. So therefore, it's a harmonizing of your utmost practice. And for that I would say each and every one of you have experienced it. There's nothing to earn, because it's an end of the out-breath is nothing. It is nothing to earn. But when you come closer, you see how much difficulties you are facing. Therefore, don't try to earn this nothingness. It is at the end of every phenomena, it is there. So how much you go prepared for that? It is not the beginner's mindfulness, it's the most advanced mindfulness. When and where you see the cessation, don't hesitate, just be aware with the maximum mindfulness, and more you practice even the first in-breath and out-breath, second in-breath and out-breath, you can go fairly deep. More and more you practice, you see, end of the in-breath and out-breath, the Nibbana is there. If you overskip, that is because due to a desire. You skip it because of your conceit. You skip it because of your egotistic idea. Therefore, nothing to earn. When and where you are override, just go thin slicing of time, the tiniest most time, and then you can sometime you can touch it. Whenever you touch it, very difficult to put into words, but experience is there. So therefore you have to do the same thing 1001 time. Later, imagine that is when becoming your second nature, that become your home. That's the way you set your mindset for the Nibbana. It is happening before the death. As you understand, but at the death, when the cessation happens, don't get hesitant. You know you have seen 1001, so this is also ceases to exist. So nothing to worry, nothing to cry. Things are happening. So far, at the deathbed, you cry and you make other people also cry. And that is what they call family life. Utter foolishness. Whether you cry or not, you have to say bye-bye and go. You have gone already, leaving the people crying. So therefore, this is a kind of a rehearsal, but very, very unpredictable, very, very electric, very, very impromptu. So what you have to do is put a microscope and see when things are ceases to exist. Don't get carried away, excited. Just try to be further and further there, and that the exercise, the experience you are going to get in that is you are becoming more and more close to Buddha. More and more you become close to Dhamma. More and more you become Arya Sangha. And you understand that is what the discipline. And For that, what are the basic qualifications? Endowment is nothing. You can't say you must be a male, or you must be a female, or you must be an ordained monk, or you must be a forest monk, or you must be Buddhist. No. This is the endowment. But lucky enough, the Buddha has given the methodology for the Buddhists, and whether practice or not, when they are one step ahead, because they know the method. But other people may beat about the bush, may or may not, but the people who know, better chances are there. So therefore take this advantage, whatever the experience you have, whatever the theory knowledge you have, but everything is geared for this unassuming thing, non-judgmental thing, not at the sensuous world, not at the commitment, but this is only I am talking when and where the mind is set, prepared over there. Whenever things are in the cessation mode, the non-judgmental, non-reactional way or choiceless way, you see whether your mind is prepared for the Nibbana, whether your mind is ready for understanding, and that is our prime task. What's our prime challenge? Leaving that open, I would like to sum up the talk today. Thank you very much for listening.